When did you fall in love with basketball?
That's a really good question. When did I fall in love with basketball? Fell in love with basketball just at an early age, being able to play, on the blacktop, my backyard, just those peaceful moments of me, the ball, the hoop, and just any game situation that I could think of, whether it was a buzzer beater, or it was a late game shot. It was just, basketball was just my sanctuary, and I think that's what got me so close to the game of basketball is the peace that I got from basketball and just being able to play it and just the cool memories that basketball has been able to afford me. I spent a lot of time after school playing basketball, and I think that also gives you cool connection with other people in an open gym, being able to do pickup or just running over to the cart and being able to pick up a basketball, and you knew that that was just freedom, and I think that that's what was really cool early on, just having those big moments of hitting a shot, and then also just really pushing yourself, and being competitive early on. Classmates, where we would uh, play, and really focus on getting better on whether it was in practice, middle school, high school, and also the coaches. Definitely want to shout out the coaches in middle school and high school that really give you that discipline, what it takes to be like a team player. I think that's what really kind of gave me that connectivity of basketball is a team sport. Like everybody has to work together. It's not just one person, that makes the team go. In the day and age of superstars, it's really easy to forget that. But I feel like being grounded by my coaches and teammates, I think that really helped me really form that foundation of what basketball means to me. A role player by the name of Trenton Hassel. I don't know if maybe for some Timberwolves fans, but he was somebody that I knew just played the game the right way. Um, whether he was guarding the best player every single night, and currently it would be Jaden McDaniels. That's another role player, but he's a definitely a rising star for the Minnesota Timberwolves. But he and Trent Hassel, one of those role players that I always just love their game, and they get you to the root of basketball in regards to they're competing, they're not letting up, and I think that's where the rest of their teammates are able to feed off of them. I think that's the real true DNA of a winning basketball team with the LA Lakers. AC Green, he was another guy that was a role player. You knew that when once they inserted him into the lineup, you knew that the energy was going to shift or there was going to be um, you know a different way that they were approaching that. And the same thing with Derek Fisher, Lakers, and even in his time with Utah, it was cool to kind of watch him flourish and really bring his style of game of just being aggressive and what he brings to that championship pedigree of basketball. Getting that first jersey, being part of a team, going with the ups and downs of the result, the grind of the season. I know it's middle school, but like it was like, all right, you had that solidarity with your brothers on that school bus trip to a road game, and watching your teammates play, and also taking part in the success of those wins. I think just learning the game. I think that's what really stays with me. Is just that gave me that that lifetime memory of just what it really took to be part of a team, and I think just like the whole state of basketball. I think you really get to appreciate it when you're finally putting on a jersey and you're part of a team. I think it's a really cool sense of that. Oh, Ryan, you're taking me back to the Final Four. I'm a big Yukon Huskies program, so both men's and women's. But this was the men's national championship in Glendale, Arizona. They were taking on Purdue. It was Purdue and UConn in the national championship. So I was there at the championship game, and that just sticks out as one of the most um, you know, important games that I've ever attended live. and just one of the most memorable games too, just because of the intensity. The Purdue fans, I tell you, they're deep. They run deep. They run deep in regards to the way that they travel. They travel really well. But Storrs, Connecticut, definitely showed up and showed out for the UConn Huskies. Uh, that was just one of those games where it's just like you had to be there because that whole Final Four was really cool too in regards to the story of that Final Four where UConn and Alabama had a classic game prior to the national championship. Um, NC State made it on a Cinderella run with DJ Burns and you had Zach Edey for Purdue. Great program with Purdue and Matt Painter. So that was kind of just the perfect prelude to the national championship. But yeah, the history of that game, just watching all those great players, and all these current players like Stephon Castle. You still have Alex Caravan still at UConn, all-time UConn Huskies winningest player, and at that time they were looking to go back to back. So that was cool to also have that sense of looking to see a back-to-back title. So yeah, that stands alone. Another one I would say for NBA, if I was to go NBA and kind of bridge that conversation, I'd say it was last year. Watching, I'm sorry to say this, but not really. It was against your Golden State Warriors. But watching the Minnesota Timberwolves advance to their second consecutive Western Conference Finals, and it happened on my birthday too. So like I think that also has a special place for me as well. It was really cool to watch that live and just the atmosphere. Even though one of the greatest players, Stephen Curry, was not in that series late, he did start game one, but watching game five live, I think was cool just to see the energy that the Minnesota Timberwolves have given the Minnesota public, and what that team really means to the state and to the fans in the NBA. I think it would have to be an epic pickup game because I think I couldn't miss. It was 4th of July. I was playing up in Forest Lake at a friend's cabin. There was a lot of trash talking. Obviously, you're just out there at a cabin and you're just like, all right, we're just out hooping. There was a lot of trash talk leading up to the game. For my performance to not miss, I think that is what really sticks out to me. And then I think I do have a post on Instagram too where I really, it just felt like an emotional, like, wow, like I was able to do this. Like, and I think there's moments in basketball where it is an emotional game, and even though you still have to control your emotions while playing to be able to stay on track, whether it's a defensive assignment. But I think that's what really stood out for me is just being able to, play good defense, stay aggressive, but still, like every time the ball left my hands, I knew it was going down. When you're in the zone, you're in the zone, Ryan. And I was in the zone, and I think that's what really sticks out for me in regards to just my personal career of just playing basketball, both organize and just pick up. Why basketball is so important to me? I feel like basketball is important because it gives me the opportunity to travel, get to meet great people like you, Ryan. I've been to a couple different basketball arenas. I've been to, and I know that we met in San Antonio. That was really cool. Shout out to Miteria. I mean, that's one of the finest Mexican restaurants in all of the land here in the U.S. Maybe all of North America, but I know some people will debate me on that. Getting reunions out when I was in Arizona, I got to spend some time with one of my college classmates. He's a reporter out in Yuma. Just special moments in what basketball has been able to just allow me and afforded me so far, and I'm really excited to see what it will afford me in the future.